I can start that. Okay. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to our episode of Refugee Voices. And today we have a staff member from When We Band Together from Lesvos, Greece. And Senia, you want to introduce yourself?
Hi to everybody. Thanks for the greeting. It's a pleasure to be here. Yeah, I'm a volunteer in the organization When We Band Together, and I've been working with them and collaborating for a month, we can say. Yeah.
And you said you're a student and you're interning here, correct? So I just want to talk about how you got into this opportunity and your experiences before that.
Yeah, for sure. I studied psychology in my hometown. It's Canary Islands. And I had a few experiences there because that's also a route of movement of people and actually a very intercultural place. And I've been always engaged with migration issues, we can say, working also with the Red Cross in the reception of people, working for some policies there. So that's how started my interest with some travels also about different cultures, different people from all over the world, let's say, and putting my piece of help there. I also had an experience before, maybe 6 or 7 years ago, making some volunteering in Athens in a refugee camp called Malakasan nearby. So I already knew the issue that's going on here in Greece as a frontier of state of the European Union. And at this point, I'm just studying a master's about transnational migrations,
Wow.
and I wanted to connect, let's say, my studies with a summer school that it was going on here in one of the in the Aegean Sea Greek islands, which is called Enosis. So I had to go to the summer school to receive some conferences, and I said, okay, why not to make this a bit wider for me and take some practical experience also. So that's why I'm here. I made my research through internet. I was actually specifically looking for a women's association. A project that works with women and children was very interesting for me because also I'm very engaged with feminist approach. And yeah, that's why I just went back together. I found it like a very great job what they're doing here and wanted to get involved. Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah, that sounds great. I was wondering what inspired you to help refugees? What inspired you to, really come here? Was it something that happened in your like upbringing in Spain in the Canary Islands, or was it something else?
I can say it's just one thing, but yeah, everything. I mean, it starts with a will to help, and
Yeah.
a lot of collectives, a lot of different people actually. And I feel in my experience with my age, I've tried always to do something for the society to to be better and develop. So I've always had this interest about the humanitarian aid and international cooperation. I feel there's some situations that are, we can say, more extreme, and there's some vulnerabilities. And I wanted also to give my energy for that. Although, I mean, also in Canary Islands, we have the this a very similar problem. Um, but also I feel it's very important to get experience from other places and how they manage the migration situation, the intercultural and coexistence issues in the place. So also, just I really wanted to make connections between my place and here and take some knowledge there and also raise some awareness about Greece and migration in my home. Yeah.
Wonderful. Yeah, and I know you have so many different experiences like you listed. I want to ask what you learned in not each one, but in general, like especially at When We Band Together and also in your other experiences and how they're even different in some ways.
Okay. Maybe for starting one with When We Band Together, I learned a lot about I can say intercultural approach and how I came with my mindset of things that could work as some workshops, some sessions, some way of organizing activities with women, which somehow worked in my past experience, maybe working as psychologist, doing other volunteerings, organizing groups, and then coming here, I found out that obviously we have such different backgrounds with people and ways of integrating and working together. In the sense, I don't know, I can give you some examples. Firstly, I did a workshop, for example, about music, and then the feedback that I had from women was actually struggling about music as something that is banned, for example, in Afghanistan because of the Taliban ruler. So it was something shocking for me that I thought, just let's share our traditional musics and have some identification through this cultural phenomena. But it's more difficult here. But then after, for example, if we put it into dancing with traditional music, it's much easier to connect, for example, to embody it. Still very also interesting relationship between and gender relationships when they're men or when they aren't men in the moment of the activities, it changes a lot. Also giving English classes, I found out how different is structured a mind when you write from the right to the left, when all the calligraphy, the letters are different, and how it is this difficulty or this barrier to teach English, for example, to a person that come from another totally different linguistic mindset. That was interesting. Then how, for example, these support groups that we are used to kind of in my homeland to do, they don't work very well if we just sit and let's speak about our stuff. It's better like to be doing, I don't know, intercultural approach for sure. And the bigger thing I learned is like, I feel like coming with a preconceived idea of what people need, for me, it's always a mistake, because actually everyone, it's such a different person with such a different background, and the richness and the knowledge that each one brings, it's like the most wonderful thing, let's say. So if I had to start again my work here, I would just sit down with everybody and say, hey, we're here, we want to organize stuff. What would you like to do? And let's make our schedule. Let's just decide together and let's make these proposals. Like let's make people, how to say, protagonists, like protagonists of the things we construct here together. That's my learning here. I mean, I'm sure I've had different learnings from different experiences, but maybe it will be a bit longer to say here.
Right.
Yeah.
But this has been from Women Bantu, has been a huge impact for me also. So I come with a lot of perspective to my homeland. And last one, I came with a big rational like mind, logical about speaking. Let's use our rational mind. But I found that body activities like I don't know, sports, dancing, something that helps a lot to connect people, to make a bond.
Yeah.
And we did swimming classes weekly, 1 day a week we do that, and feeling how it was different experience for each woman, but still I found some common things like the empowering, looking to it as a survival skill, as something like a big challenge, and working together like to learn how to go through that. And I see as a symbol of also the passing, the movement, the migration. It's very strong, and that was such a surprise for me, such a discovery also.
So
You can comment.
Right, so I think you bring such an interesting and unique perspective. I was just wondering, through all your time in WWBT and even before that, working with refugees, what do you think are the biggest needs, the biggest problems that they're facing at this moment right now?
Well, this is my opinion. Let's say that from the first moment. For sure, in the assistential way, like when it's not a problem, but when the phenomena, when the people are already here, there's some basic needs like lodgement and some care, which it's, let's say, not in the best condition. So improving the organization of the places that people live, it's a basic need. But still, let's speak like before the arrivals, for sure, we have a lot of political issues with the European Union in the management, which is actually the core and the roots of all some extreme situations. So I feel we have also activist things to do and to just keep fighting or advocating. It's advocating for human rights in all senses. That's very important.
I think especially with our audience that wants to get involved in humanitarian efforts and especially international relations, and things to see is the political climate and also how the issues are forming nowadays. For sure. I would want to ask for the viewer at home, like what could they do to support like different humanitarian efforts? Like you've experienced different things by visiting different programs in different places and different cultures. So what could someone at home do to educate themselves and also put something forward as an impact?
So for me, the change starts from the interior of each person. Before, like maybe doing, it's cool to revise ourselves and make some deconstructions. So I feel it's very important to get well informed, like really use different sources of information and get to know news and reports, different organizations, and try to enrich our knowledge. Then try to communicate with others and spread and get common awareness about that. They're very instructive documentaries also. There are people also making this advocacy, so it's important to follow them. I think making a huge deconstruction of let's say privileges that we have in comparison with other people. And after that, I feel obviously it will be good to maybe make some connection with organizations that have already started projects, and I feel, as is the name of this project here of this organization, when we band together, things happen. So really to continue getting connected, for example, with groups as you guys that already have been then sharing the experiences and supporting in the way that each person can. So that's my humble opinion.
Awesome.
No, I think that's a great piece of information that the viewers at home can use. We try to always think of ways that we can incorporate more people into this cause, because it really is it's a worldwide cause, and I think that in order to really solve it, it's such a massive issue. More and more people need to step up. I was just wondering, through your personal experiences, what are some of the common themes that you see when you're talking to refugees about their experiences in their home countries? How big of an issue is the trauma aspect, the mental health aspect of it, and just what are some of those?
Okay, so in my case, I try not to look to people just through one part of their life, which has been this process of coming here. What I want to share here is I felt there's a need also to be seen just as a normal person, as you and me, not seen as a person that has been through something so struggling that homogenizes all the image that we have with people. Like sometimes there's this feeling that we look at people through all this. Oh, you come from Afghanistan. Oh, the poor person. And like if we imagine ourselves in that position, that should be horrible, because there are people that are teachers, there are people that are public functionaries, there are people that just had their families there, that have just got married before coming. There just a lot of life elements which are missed when we just look at people through trauma. So if we have to speak about trauma, doing this introduction, for sure, I feel there are things that are very difficult to speak about. For example, when we spoke about the music workshop, right? There was just this thing of we can't listen maybe with for sad music or something that reminds us to connect us to some moments, because sometimes it's a survival skill also to dissociate, and there's a need also like to not think about this part. So of course their mental health needs, which like are just evident, but still there's a need to connect with people through this equality, this not coming like, hey, I want to help you, I'm out your top, but just making, I felt that making bonds with people, it's what helps them to maybe open a bit and speak. And for ending conclusion, totally like social justice, it's the basis for helping mental issues from the roots, not to
Right.
to be this
For sure.
yeah, there's something that marks people.
For sure.
And with that, I mean, yeah, just living conditions as lodgement, of food, I don't know, freedom of movement, and
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And lastly, one more question, sorry. We were able to visit the Karatepe refugee camp yesterday, and we saw the conditions that they were living in, right? Like plastic tents, it was pretty overcrowded, not enough meals they're getting meals like once or twice a day. So I was just wondering, what do you think Greece or other European nations can do to better support the refugees that are coming in?
Yeah, at this point, I feel there has been a development in the rapidness, the quickness of the procedure, because people come here, and I don't know if we're all familiarized, no, but they're waiting for refugee status, so they're asylum seekers, and then there's a procedure, judice procedure. But and it's kind of quick at this point, because, for example, in COVID or in 2015, when it was a huge crisis here, where there were more than 10,000 in Moria, people were stuck for years. In the procedure, for example, we have one colleague here working with us. She had to wait 6 years for get her refugee status, and now she got it yesterday, and we're very happy with her. Now it can happen in 1 month, So still the condition, as you said, in Karatepe, in the refugee camp, are a bit I don't know how to say, but kind of precarious. Yeah, let's say that. And this is again my opinion and my position. There are some buildings which are not used now, which are empty. There could be some social helps also for proprietor who has empty buildings, and actually I feel people could have some dignity there, living in maybe a flat, because now we have a tent or a small container for 2 families, and it's really difficult to live like that. So that's from the part of the assistance of people who already come, but then there's another issue with coast guards, and there are some embarkations that come that don't reach the land. So, and that's already something, I mean, some violations of human rights can happen there. So this is responsibility of the Greek government. First, they want to manage somehow and securitize the place, but the measures they're using, they don't respect the human rights sometimes. And also, well, European politics, as they have like the widow word, and maybe they haven't had this more strong position, and yeah. So this is my point of view.
Wonderful. That's a great way.
Yeah, I think that's a great way to end it. Thank you so much for coming on to our podcast and sharing your unique perspective and your experiences working with the refugees. Thank you for tuning in.
Thank you to everybody to listen. That was awesome.